she got a text from her best friend, 2 days after the funeral. Subscribe now, if you're brave enough to keep watching. The rain hadn't stopped since the funeral. It fell in steady sheets, soft enough to muffle sound, but heavy enough to make the world feel gray and hollow. Lena Myers sat on her couch, phone in hand, staring at the contact that still felt impossible to delete. Emily, her best friend since childhood, her sister in everything but blood. Emily's car accident had been quick, brutal, and final. The police said she died instantly, but the word instantly didn't make the silence any easier. Lena had spoken at the funeral, trembling through memories of the two of them in high school, the late-night talks, the whispered secrets, the dreams they buried in that small Ohio town they'd both tried so hard to escape. Now it was 2 days later, and the house felt empty in a way she couldn't name. When her phone vibrated, she almost didn't look. Unknown. Number: "Hey, it's me." At first, she thought it was a cruel mistake. Maybe someone using Emily's old phone. She typed back quickly, angry and shaking. "Lena, who is this? This isn't funny." The reply came almost instantly, unknown. Number: "You still keep the key in the same place." Her stomach dropped. Only Emily would know that. The spare key hidden in the chipped ceramic frog beside the porch, something they'd joked about since high school. She sat frozen. Then another message. "Unknown number. You promised you'd help me if I ever got stuck. Remember?" Lena's throat went dry. She didn't know if she was scared or broken or both. Her first instinct was to call Emily's parents, but she couldn't. They were still shattered from the funeral. She tried calling the number. Straight to voicemail. That night, she couldn't sleep. She turned off the lights and scrolled through old photos. Emily laughing in the car. Emily holding their graduation caps. Emily standing in front of Brookfield High, where they'd met. Then another message appeared, time-stamped 3:11 a.m. Unknown number. Go to our spot. Their spot. The small hill behind the school, overlooking the football field, the place where they'd buried a time capsule years ago. Lena got up, heart racing. Rain still poured outside, wind whipping through the trees. Logic screamed not to go. But grief has its own language, and sometimes it sounds a lot like hope. She drove through the storm, headlights cutting through mist. The school sat dark and silent, windows like blank eyes. She parked near the old bleachers, clutching her phone, unknown. Number: "You'll find me where we left it." She climbed the hill, mud soaking through her sneakers. At the top stood the oak tree they'd carved their initials into years ago. L plus E forever. The carving was still there, weathered but visible. When lightning flashed, she saw something glinting at the base of the tree. A small, half-buried tin box, their time capsule. She knelt down, digging through the wet earth with her hands. Inside were the old letters and photos they'd left behind, but one new item lay on top. A small folded note. The paper was clean, dry, and smelled faintly of Emily's favorite perfume. Lena unfolded it slowly. Her hands shook as she read the single line scrawled in blue ink. "You shouldn't have opened this." Her phone buzzed again. She dropped the note, grabbing the phone with trembling fingers. "Unknown number. You weren't supposed to come alone. Lightning flashed again, and for a second she saw a figure standing at the bottom of the hill. Still, watching. The next flash, it was gone. But the screen of her phone was still glowing, the typing dots pulsing unknown. Number, check your car. The car. The rain had softened to a steady drizzle, but the air still felt heavy, swollen with something unspoken. Lena stood frozen beneath the oak tree, the words from the text still flickering in her mind like static. Check your car. She turned, her breath fogging in the cold. Her car sat halfway down the hill, its headlights dim in the mist. The figure she thought she'd seen earlier was gone, but the feeling of being watched lingered, sharp and pressing. She forced herself to move, each step sinking into wet earth. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown. Number, you always lock your doors, right? Her pace quickened. Her heart was a drumbeat against the night. She reached the driver's side, hands shaking as she gripped the handle. Locked. She leaned closer, squinting through the glass, and froze. There was something sitting on the passenger seat, a small white envelope. She unlocked the door, half expecting someone to leap from the shadows, but the world stayed silent. She sat inside, water dripping from her jacket, and opened the envelope. Inside was a single Polaroid photo of her and Emily, taken in their senior year. Only this photo was wrong. Behind them, in the blurry background of the old school hallway, was a third figure, a man. His face was half turned, but his hand rested on Emily's shoulder, a hand she swore hadn't been there when the photo was taken. Her phone vibrated again. Unknown. Number. You remember him now, don't you? Lena's throat tightened. Who is this? She whispered into the dark. What do you want from me? No reply. She turned the Polaroid over. A message written in fading blue ink covered the back. You promised not to tell, but you did. Her stomach twisted. The promise she remembered now, vaguely, painfully, the night of their graduation. Emily crying behind the school, begging her to keep something secret. Lena had thought it was about a boy, maybe a teacher. But Emily's eyes that night, they'd held something else. Fear. Another text came through unknown. Number, you should have left her alone that night. Her mind raced. Who are you? She typed furiously. The response came instantly. Unknown. Number, you already know? Her phone buzzed again, a video file this time. The thumbnail was dark, grainy, showing a flickering light. She hesitated, then pressed play. The footage was shaky, filmed from a phone. It showed a hallway, their old high school, the one that had been condemned years ago after a fire. The camera turned toward a locker. Lena recognized it immediately. Emily's. A faint voice whispered behind the camera, I'm sorry. Then a hand reached out, opening the locker door. Inside was a small pink phone. Emily's phone. The one police said had been destroyed in the crash. The footage cut out. Lena's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. It's still there. Her blood ran cold. She started the engine, the headlights slicing through the fog. The old school was barely 10 minutes away. Every logical thought told her to go home, call the police, do anything but drive there. But grief doesn't listen to logic. It whispers in the voice you miss most. By the time she reached the broken school gates, the rain had stopped completely. The building stood like a shadow against the sky, windows shattered, doors chained shut. She stepped out, phone light cutting through dust and darkness. The main hallway was lined with old lockers, their paint peeling and metal rusted. Her shoes echoed against the tiles. When she reached the locker, number 212, she hesitated. Her hand shook as she touched the handle. It opened easily. Inside, under a layer of dust, sat Emily's pink phone. Screen cracked, battery dead, and behind it, a small folded note. She unfolded it slowly. It wasn't Emily's handwriting. It was her own. We shouldn't have gone into the basement. Lena's heart pounded. Her memory flashed. A dark staircase, Emily crying, something dripping in the shadows. She thought she'd dreamed.